This is the Mets Postcast, your instant game reaction for the New York Mets. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
The Mets get contributions from every single starter in the lineup. They get a quality start from Clay Holmes, and they are back in the win column. Their fifth straight win against the St. Louis Cardinals to move to 22-11 on the season. Welcome in to the Mets Postcast here on the Locked On Mets YouTube channel and in the Locked On Mets podcast feed. I am your Postcast host, Chris Schubert, with you after every single Mets game throughout the course of the season. Glad to be back with you to recap this one as the Mets get a full team effort up and down the lineup from the pitching staff. We'll talk about all of the good in tonight's game, and there was a lot of it. But the main thing, our main topic, what you'll be talking about has to do with the Mets being a good baseball team.
This is what you'll be talking about.
22-11, but more importantly than that, the New York Mets are a good baseball team that take advantage of other teams' mistakes. If you give the Mets extra opportunities, if you give the Mets a extra at-bat or an extra pitch, they will do damage. That is what good baseball teams do, and the Mets tonight, you can consider it the turning point from this game, took advantage of a key moment where the Cardinals extended the inning because of a mistake. It was a tailor-made inning-ending double play. Was supposed to get the Cardinals out of a jam, and Contreras over at first base drops what is a routine ball thrown to him to end the double play. He drops it. Vientos is safe. He's kind of nonchalant in the recovery of the baseball. Some incredible heads-up base running from Brandon Nimmo, and the Mets extend a 4-3 lead to 5-3. And then, because the inning is continued, because they don't get the double play, Alvarez gets up there, he smacks the ball the other way, and now a 4-3 lead. The inning should have been over, and in the blink of an eye, it is 6-3 New York, and the game was over right then and there. The Mets were able to tack on 3 more runs later, and they got out of night one in St. Louis with a 9-3 victory. This is what good baseball teams do. They take advantage of these types of opportunities. They also come through with 2 strikes. The Mets did that over and over and over again tonight. 2-strike hitting. You had a double from Soto that was 114 miles an hour off the bat. 0-2 in the count. Hits a 114 mile an hour double. Alonso's home run, number 234 for his career, continues to climb up that franchise all-time home run leaderboard. That hit with an 0-2 count after getting down 0-2. So the Mets battling back from 0-2, working the counts, hitting with 2 outs. They had multiple really nice 2-out hits. Alvarez, an opposite field RBI hit with 2 outs. Acuna, a 2-out double. That is the type of situational hitting that good baseball teams do on the regular. And I know sometimes we forget this about this team because they have moments like they did the last couple of days. They have moments like they did in Washington. But let me just let everybody in on a little secret. The New York Mets are a good baseball team. And when you face teams like the Cardinals, when you face teams like Washington, or the last time they played St. Louis or Toronto or whoever's been on their schedule, I know there's a complaint that they haven't really played anybody yet. But when you play teams that talent-wise you are much better than, you win those games because you take advantage of situations like the Mets found themselves in tonight. It was just great situational hitting. It was great clutch hitting. Either 2 strikes, 2 outs. The Cardinals make a mistake. The Mets did an excellent job across the board, taking advantage of the Cardinals extending at-bats, extending innings, and that is what good baseball teams do, and the Mets showed that tonight. Clay Holmes, it was not a start you'd write home about. It's not a start that's going to make headlines in the newspapers or going to be the headline on the columns tomorrow or later tonight. But it is a start that got the job done. 6 innings, 3 runs, 3 strikeouts, 8 hits. Again, not his best start. Certainly looked early like it was going to be a rough night for Clay Holmes. Was battling with some command, leaving stuff up in the zone. Wasn't getting that sinker down enough. He was able to settle in and started getting those ground balls that we are accustomed to. Also had to battle getting the ball hit off of his ankle. He didn't seem comfortable. It's really the second time this season that during a start, Clay Holmes has dealt with something that has kind of thrown off his rhythm. His last start out against Washington, it was the double rain delay. Tonight, it was taking a comebacker off of the ankle and needing to kind of work through that. But what is so impressive about Clay Holmes, and what makes it even more impressive, because he's going from being a reliever, a closer, to being a starter, was his ability within the game to just settle down. As a reliever, you normally only get one inning. Sometimes maybe you'll extend into two. There's not that opportunity to kind of take that deep breath, settle down, and get into the game. And Clay Holmes did a really great job of that tonight. So it's a quality start in the stat sheet. It is a win for him. And before the season, if I told you Clay Holmes was just going to perform quality start after quality start, you would take it. We would consider that a home run. We would consider that a success for this signing. He's been even better than that at times with how dominant his stuff has been. So on a night like tonight, when the stuff isn't playing that dominant, he has to battle, had to work out of some trouble, some self-inflicted wounds, right? Alvarez missed throwing the ball into the outfield. Lindor can't handle it cleanly, allows a run to score. But he settled down and he did what good starting pitchers do. Gave his team a chance to get back into it, gave his team a chance to win, and the Mets were able to do him a solid and get those runs across so that he could pick up the victory and move to 4-1 on the season. Sub-3 ERA for Clay Holmes, 2.95 on the season after the start tonight. So not his best, not his worst, but got the job done, and that's what you like to see from somebody who is still getting used to being a starting pitcher. He battled tonight, and he gave the Mets a chance. So we have to talk about the rest of this offense. We got to break down some of these individual performances. There's a lot of them to break down. So we'll do that. We'll dive into the numbers, and we will get you ready for tomorrow's game. Well, the Mets will go for their 6th straight win against the Cardinals, and they'll go for the series win. So we'll do all of that here on the other side. Did you know that your Fire TV is also an Xbox? Turn any TV into your gaming and entertainment hub with Fire TV Stick 4K devices. No console required. Just grab your paired controller, subscribe, or sign in to Xbox Game Pass Ultimate with EA Play included, and you're ready to go. You can dive into hundreds of premium titles. Perhaps you want to get in on EA Sports College Football 25 to Call of Duty as easily as you stream your favorite shows. You ever want to try out an Xbox game? I know there are times maybe I don't want to drop the money on a game. Not necessarily sure if I'm interested in that game. Well, guess what? You can fire up your Fire TV Stick 4K. It is a low-pressure way for you to start exploring gaming. Also, the Fire TV Stick 4K, everything is in one place. Netflix, YouTube, it all just works. Head to Amazon.com/Fire TV Locked On to get started. Xbox Game Pass Ultimate subscription and compatible controller required. Available on select devices, including the Fire TV Stick 4K 2nd Gen, the Fire TV Stick 4K Max 1st and 2nd Gen, and the Fire TV Cube 3rd Gen. Back here with you on the Locked On Mets postcast, Locked On Mets podcast feed, and the Locked On Mets YouTube channel. Appreciate all of you being here after these games. It's always good to talk about a win rather than a loss. The Mets got back into the win column tonight, moved to 22-11 on the season, and they did so behind a 17-hit performance from their offense, and it was everybody. The only person who didn't get a hit in this game is Starling Marte, who came in as a pinch hitter and only got 2 at-bats. Everybody else who either started or came into this game, Tyrone Taylor came off the bench and got on base 2 times. Everybody got a hit in this game, sans Starling Marte. It was a full team effort tonight, and it was a team effort, but there was some really great individual performances. One that shouldn't surprise anybody, but a couple that should really get us excited about what things might look like here moving forward. We can talk about Pete Alonso hitting another home run, 2 for 5 in this game, number 234 for his career in New York, his 8th home run of the season. He just continues to be, I saw somebody in the YouTube chat say MVP. He has been the MVP of this offense. He has been excellent to start the season. And I just think about where we were a year ago. If we were doing these postcasts at the beginning of the season last year, how different the conversation would have been because of Pete's early season struggles and really his struggles all season long until the postseason, until that home run in Milwaukee. It has just been an excellent turnaround for him. He just seems more comfortable. He seems more relaxed. He's really seeing the ball well. Even if he gets behind in the count, he's battling. He's laying off those close pitches, and he's just been excellent. It has been a really Great start to the season for him, and he hit a home run tonight. He was not the only one. Brandon Nimmo went yard, and Nimmo has been awesome as of late. Despite being down a couple of days because he was sick, these are his last 7 days. How about 6 for 23, 2 home runs, and 11 RBIs? He has been excellent over his last 7 days. Was 3 for 3 with 2 walks tonight, including a home run. He has just been awesome. He had that, 3 home runs over his last 7 days. The 2 home run performance against Washington, the 9 RBIs, and then he had an RBI tonight to go along with the home run and the 2 walks, getting that on base percentage up with the 5 on base day, 3 for 3 with the 2 walks. So really good to see him turn a corner. And let's talk about the other guy who is very, very clearly turning a corner. And I'm just going to say it out loud now. I don't want to hear anybody complaining anymore. 0 complaints allowed about Juan Soto, because this is a different player right now. And if you can't see it, I don't know what it's going to take to show you that this is a different player. Not only is he getting the results, but look at the outs that he's making tonight. One of the outs that he made, a deep drive to the deepest part of the ballpark there in Busch Stadium to center field. He was not making those outs 2 weeks ago. He was either striking out or he was rolling over on the ball to the first baseman. He's taking the ball the other way. He's driving the baseball. He's hitting the baseball extremely hard. He had 3 home runs going into the Mets last game against the Diamondbacks. He hit 2 home runs, his first 2 Citi Field home runs. He is starting to find his swing. He is starting to be way more comfortable. He finished that series 2 for 3 with the 2 home runs against Arizona. And tonight it was a 2 for 5 day. And as Mikey in the chat says, if Cold Soto is an 822 OPS, then consider me hyped. Absolutely. I have been one that has said that these numbers, I guess he's struggling. But if that's struggling, then when the breakout happens, it's going to be really, really fun to see. And you can see him turning a corner. You can see him getting more comfortable. And even in the outs that he is making, it just feels more productive. It feels like you can tell he's seeing the ball better and he's able to do a lot more with it. And I think I mentioned this earlier, and if I didn't, I want to make sure I say it again. A double tonight that he hit 114 miles an hour. Those are the types of things that you look at to determine whether or not somebody is on fire and is getting hot and is heating up. Yeah, Juan Soto is definitely heating up. And if he's going to start to contribute, if Nimmo is going to start to contribute the way he's been contributing lately, this offense is going to reach a whole new stratosphere. And oh, by the way, how about the day for Francisco Alvarez behind the plate? And at the dish, threw a runner out. I know he made that misplay throwing the ball into left field. Probably just needs to eat that. But threw out a runner at second base, 3 for 5 with 3 RBIs. And the beautiful thing about his at-bats, and they talked about it a bunch on the broadcast tonight, just going the other way, making it free and easy and just going with the pitch and driving that ball into right field, into right center field. And he was really great tonight. And he had a good start to the year with the home run, had a rough series in Arizona. And remember, you're dealing with a guy who didn't get a full spring, was then rehabbing, minor league assignment. Now it's kind of getting those spring ABs at the big league level. And he was awesome today. And so you just look up and down this lineup, multi-hit games, Soto, Alonso, Nimmo, Winker, Alvarez, Tyrone Taylor comes off the bench, contributes with a hit, contributes with a couple defensive plays. You just got contributions from everybody today. A full team effort for the Mets tonight. And we have said this a number of times throughout the season, but I do think it is a very important storyline to discuss. The Mets are an extremely resilient bunch. After the last 2 days, there was a lot of criticism about this team, criticism about the manager and some of the bullpen decisions, criticism about Juan Soto, criticism about the bats, even though they scored 27 runs the previous 2 days. These are the ebbs and flows of a baseball season, but hopefully today is a reminder that this team has a ton of talent. And when they are all firing together and it's all just full steam ahead, it looks really, really good. And tonight was a great night. Shout out to 2 bullpen arms that I think have given us some uneasy stomachs here through the early part of the season. Jose Butto with 2 scoreless innings tonight. Good to see him have that type of outing. Got a nice double play ball to help him get out of a jam there in the 8th. Good for his confidence to put up those 2 zeros. And we said this after the last time Stanek was out there. Really nice job to put him in a low leverage environment tonight, but to get him right back out there and to give him a nice, clean, scoreless inning. And I don't think you immediately go back to him as a top high leverage option, but the confidence can maybe start to build off of a performance like this, because now the last time he was out there, it's not one of these 3 blown leads. It was a clean inning where his stuff looked good, a 6-pitch, 3-out, take care of business, end the game. That's probably got to do wonders for his confidence. So maybe a couple of more outings like this where you can get him in those low leverage situations or maybe medium leverage situations to continue to build that confidence back up. And then I think you can put Stanek right back into those high leverage spots. So I thought some really good managing by Carlos Mendoza tonight to use Stanek in that spot in the 9th inning, but a 6-run lead to give him now that last memory in his head of being out there is I put up a 0 and I got out of it. I didn't put myself into trouble. And I got this team the 3 outs that they were asking of me. So I thought that was really good. A storyline to keep an eye on, just Edwin Diaz hasn't pitched in a little bit. So I think we need to kind of buckle up if we're going to see him over the next couple of days. We just need to prepare ourselves now. And so maybe I'm just saying it out loud so we're all ready for it, whether it's tomorrow or it's on Sunday. But Edwin Diaz has not pitched, I believe it's since last Saturday. So just 10-2, buckle up, be ready for whatever may come the next time Edwin Diaz is out there, because he may need some time to kind of find his feel. And you can see that Carlos has been trying to find a spot, but you also don't want to burn him and then not have him the next day if it is a close game and you need your closer. So it's a delicate balance. Carlos right now is leaning heavily towards we're just going to sit back and not use him. You got to think at some point over the weekend he's going to get in there to make sure it's not more than a week since the last time we've seen Edwin Diaz. But a great night for the Mets all across the board. They got the quality pitching that they needed. Everybody contributed hitting, and the guys that had the big nights at the plate were the guys that we've been kind of waiting just to get hot. They've had nice moments here and nice moments there, but they haven't strung together 4, 5, 6 games a week of great play. Nimmo feels like that's coming. Soto looks like a different player. Pete continues to be Pete. Francisco Lindor, I didn't even mention him at all, but another game where he leads off and gets a hit. The Mets in this game, the first 3 innings of the game got the leadoff man on. So they are getting that first base runner on, immediately putting the starting pitcher into conflict and trouble and traffic. And it was a really nice sight to see. And they took advantage of the opportunities that the Cardinals gave them. So it is back in the win column for the New York Mets. Their 5th straight win this season against the Cardinals. It is their 9th straight win against the Cardinals dating back to last season. They will go for 6 in a row tomorrow. They will go for 10 in a row overall against the Cardinals. They will go for their 2nd straight win. They will go for the series win against the Cardinals. And, one other thing. The Mets continue to be one of, if not the only team, and maybe them and the Cubs. Gary talked about something on the broadcast about the Mets being one of the teams that does not have a 3-game losing streak this season. And I think he mentioned that maybe the Cubs don't have one either. But either way, the Mets still, their longest losing streak this season is 2 games. And so 33 games into the season, that's a pretty nice stat to have in your back pocket. And another night in which the starters don't give up 4 runs or fewer. They talked about that on the broadcast as well. That is the 3rd longest streak of consecutive starts by your rotation of not giving up more than 4 runs. So they have just been really good, and they got the 6 innings. They got the length from Clay Holmes tonight. So it's Tylor Megill tomorrow as they will go for their 2nd straight win. They'll try to win this series, and they will try to make it 6 in a row this season, 10 in a row overall against the Cardinals. And you know what that means. We will be right back here on the Mets Postcast on the Locked On Mets YouTube channel and in the Locked On Mets podcast feed to break it all down. And hopefully it is a victory edition of the Postcast. Appreciate everybody being here. If you're new, subscribe, turn on that notification bell, join us. If you're listening in the podcast feed, you can join us live. Love to hear from you throughout the course of these postcasts, your thoughts, your instant reactions to everything that happened in the Mets game. But that is going to do it for us here as the New York Mets pick up a win. They go to 22-11. They're on a 108 win pace, despite maybe some of the doomers out there about the New York Mets. Just a reminder, they've won 22 of their first 33 games. That is a 108 win pace. So things could be a lot worse. Trust me. I know we get a little upset at times with some things, but this team is playing some really solid baseball right now, and it is an enjoyable ride to be on. But that's going to do it for us. We'll be back tomorrow to recap tomorrow's game. Hopefully another win for the Mets and a series win. We'll talk to you then.